Hey, before I kick off the podcast, I just want to shout out Next Door Clothing. Next Door, a clothing brand based out of Bondi in Sydney. They're making really nice jeans and shirts and hats. So go and check out their full range at nextdoorsydney.com. They're also artists, so you can go and check out a range of art. They put on rad parties, and I love what they're doing. So nextdoorsydney.com for the full range.
Hand of your loved one next to you or genital and start stroking gently.
Can you do your Bondi hipster impersonation again? I love that one. Go.
What's that?
I don't know. You're from
Oh my God,
that one.
I just was walking down the street and this guy was looking at me like, oh my God, I want his shorts. And I was like, fuck off, guy. Like, I'm the only one who's allowed to wear these because I'm stylish and I'm different and you will never be me.
Are you from Bronte or Tamarama?
Newtown currently, but I used to live in eastern suburbs. Grew up in Rose Bay. Rose Hill's a shithole. What am I saying? Oh, you are recording. I think that's more gay than fucking a hipster.
I don't know, man.
Like, not gay as, you know,
I just think...
homosexual, very, very flamboyant.
All right, so this is Clementine and Otis. All right, so this episode is brought to you by Indosol. They are the environmental fashion experts. They're making footwear out of recycled motor vehicle tyres. So go to indosol.com. That's indosole.com. Use code THT at checkout for a 15% discount. Get your pair, shipping worldwide. Also, Crush Organics CBD products. I'm a huge advocate for the use of CBD products, now legal in Australia. There's no THC in these products. Amazing for inflammation, recovery, sleep, anxiety. Go to crushorganics.com. That's KRUSHORGANICS.com. And if you go to the checkout and use code THT, you'll get the 40% discount, fast shipping worldwide. And lastly, Kingpin Skate Shop. Support local, locally owned by skateboarders, for skateboarders, but also anyone else that just loves rad shit, like awesome shoe range, clothing range, all online. But they also have their shop in Wollongong, so go and check it out. It's kingpinstore.com. That's KINGPINSTORE.com. And if you use code THT at checkout, you'll get a 15% discount. Okay, let's do this, Mr. Jenkins. Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks.
Yeah, good to be here, man. Whoa. Dude, I'm
Go. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's do this.
Today's guest is Kirk Jenkins. Kirk is an artist, surfer, free thinker, impersonator, and all-round inspiration to many. Kirk is a past guest on the show, dating all the way back to episode 71. Can you believe that, dude?
Was it 71 or 171?
No, 71.
71.
So we're talking like well over 60 episodes ago.
Jesus,
well
man.
overdue for a catch-up, my brother.
Gnarly.
In that episode, Kirk discusses his creative processes, his unique approach to surfing, and much more, so go and check it out. This week, Kirk is with me live and in person to check in, share his journey, experiences, challenges, and hopes for the future. Always fun. Mr. Kirk Jenkins, welcome.
Thank you, Shan.
How are you?
It's good to be here.
Dude.
It's good to be here in my own home.
It is good to be in your own home. Listen, man, we had an awesome morning. Mm-hmm. We went down to the beach at Cronulla, had some breakfast, bit of a swim, you know, and just checked out the scene down there. How has Cronulla changed since when you were a little kid growing up here? Big question.
Yeah, I guess it's there's like a lot of subtleties in that. And then there's some just drastic changes, I think. As far as the geography, like natural landscapes or nature spots, you know, they've been tampered with.
The sand dunes.
When I was a boy, the sand dunes were bigger than the Twin Towers. Now they're like a flat-chested woman. No, it's yeah, the sand dunes. The sand dunes.
I swear to God, every old Cronulla local tells the story about how big the sand dunes used to be at Kurnell.
Yeah, well, they were just such a beautiful place to go, like a location or to look at. And I mean, it's not even about that. Humans don't really have a say in it because it's to do with the ecosystem and nature. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so like the big changes you've noticed, obviously, the development of the place.
Yeah, gentrification, money coming in, I guess, and once they gentrified and promoted as this new place, then you not only push out the residents that had been living here already because of the prices, you're bringing in a whole type of new person, and that changes the social vibration. It changes the it just changes the climate overall, I guess, because you basically are what you interact with and what you surround yourself with. And so I'm very sensitive, and I pick up on, wait a second, this doesn't feel like my place, or I don't seem to vibe as much with the predominant I don't know,
energy.
Yeah.
Does it still feel like your place? Or are you starting to feel more like an outsider in your home?
I've kind of always felt like a bit of an outsider anyway, not in a bad way, but yeah. But I mean, it's funny because I didn't want to come back here to Sydney once I left America, and that's why I went to Tassie. Yeah, I don't know if it's my ego or pride that was resisting revisiting things that I was uncomfortable with from the past, or I don't really know, but no, I think I can feel comfortable basically anywhere, but yeah, it does feel I'm yearning for that tribe or that kind of that social landscape where I can, community really just
well, you don't feel like
tap in and not feel kind of restricted to.
You don't feel like you have it here anymore.
Well, I don't know if I ever really did have it, because I went overseas and came back and was kind of disjointed with old mates who, went and did other stuff or ended up in relationships and whatever. So, you come back from that and being a free spirit who doesn't conform to the norms anyway. It's like, you basically just end up being a nomad and kind of working out your own journey because, if you're not the norm, then you don't have many people to really reference the lifestyle you're living. You just kind of trust it and
Yeah, interesting. On another note, there's a leaf blower going in the background, and this might be the first time after many podcasts of people using leaf blowers that I actually go outside and shove that leaf blower up that person's ass.
That's gnarly.
I'm sorry, I'm just...
Lubricant or just dry?
I'm just kidding. I just feel like every time there's a leaf blower somewhere I go...
Is it close or far?
It's fine. No, it's fine. Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask you because I sort of we're down the beach and it's everyone and, and you seem like you're really in your zone. But then I look behind you and I just see yet another high-rise apartment going up, and I'm also very cognizant of the fact that real estate prices in Sydney and the southeast coast of Australia are just to the point of just completely unaffordable for most people. Mm-hmm. A majority of the working class could never afford to live in Cronulla anymore.
No. And the thing is most of or all the wealthier people from the eastern suburbs and whatnot, my mum and dad said when they first moved here, which was early 70s, I think. Yeah. And they bought a waterfront for 60 grand.
Right.
But they said no one wanted to move to Cronulla. It was looked at like the end of the tracks, a shithole, just very blue collar and footy pies and surfing and trades. And that was kind of it. But now that they've, gradually gentrified and brought new businesses in and took old businesses out and, put a bit of tinsel around the town to make it look a certain way. And, now it's the best place to be. Like, it's just fabulous. I mean, but at the same time, it's just, I guess that happens. It happens with everywhere. I'm grateful that I got to see the raw side of it. Grass is always greener. I used to complain when it was too raw. So now it's like, humans are never fucking happy. So
We're not. And change is inevitable.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the big thing is that it's an inequitable change. So it's not a fair change.
No, you're right. Right.
That's what sort of is bumming me out. It's like, so, you're an artist as well as a social worker, right? So you're not really on a high income. I'm just guessing. So how does someone like you maintain a lifestyle in this kind of area?
Well, is
it achievable or barely?
Well, obviously it's achievable because I've been doing it for the last 3 years. I think I'm very resourceful. I can live off not much. But at the same time, I say that I'm by no means am I starving on the bones of my ass.
Gotcha.
I'm good at saving, and I don't consume shit. Like you can see in my house, I've got a mattress on the ground. I've got 2 little chairs and this little table. But like everything else is a distraction to me. I want a tidy space, tidy mind, so that I can have new visions and new ideas. So I don't get so like stuck into my own home and like feeling all lazy and comforted and, complacent and whatnot. I want it to be ready. Like if I need to move, I need to do something. I don't need to pack up a whole lot of shit. I can just bounce. Do you know what I mean? I need that freedom and that feeling of lightness. Probably, that's why I live the life that I've lived or that I live. And yeah, I mean, I make a decent living from my art and from social work. I think actually the support work pays better than a lot of jobs actually.
It's nice. Like it feels like for me that would be a good.
But
balance.
most people can't afford to be here for sure.
Yeah, but let's say that you didn't have that supplementary income as a support worker.
Is it just as an artist?
Yeah, would that be impossible to sustain?
It'd be hard.
So I noticed lately you've been commissioned to do some mural work around Cronulla. Can you tell us about your last one you did on the Esplanade up there?
Yeah, so this
looks epic.
Thanks, brother. This family that I met through another mate of mine, I'd painted a surfboard of his for his family, and then his mate Tony saw it, and then he asked me to do the same for him. And then the next thing was he'd finished his house off, and it's this beautiful modern house on the water on the Esplanade in Cronulla. And so he said, man, I've got this idea and I've got this wall. I think I want to, just have this beautiful piece or make a statement. He goes, me, I'm a bit left of field. Most people wouldn't do this, but, I'm a little bit different. And that's, it takes those kind of people to take on someone like me, an artist, or give them an opportunity and showcase my work in a bigger, in a way that I think a lot of people can appreciate, relate to, maybe feel a part of, and then also open their mind up to, oh wow, like that's a very like modern brutalist kind of architecture, very, cement and harsh, and then they've just gone and had this thing painted on their wall, which most people I don't think would take that risk.
Yeah.
Without having a plan, especially. They didn't ask me for like a sketch of it. So they trusted.
So they gave you like just creative freedom.
Yeah, like we basically made, basically did the quote and then said, we'll work in that frame. And And I didn't have a time limit, but at the same time, I just wanted to give it my all.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the last painting I ever do in Cronulla, then I want it to be special. I want energy to shine from it, and I want people to feel that, and maybe have a good feeling about me or what I've left behind, as opposed to the opposite.
That's right, because it's quite. It's from what I understand, it's quite high exposure.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's kind of cutting through that whole class bracket we're talking about, in the sense that, the wealthiest of the wealthy get to see it,
Right.
who are like more around that kind of area and beyond. But then you've got every other kind of
person that visits the beach. Yeah,
from every walk of life, So I think it's cool in that way. It's not just like, the wealthy upper class kind of snobbery only get to appreciate a certain thing and it's blocked off to the rest of the world. Do you know what I mean? Or the opposite.
Yeah.
So it's like it's everyone's wall. Do you know what I mean? It's for the family and it's very personal, some of the details I've put in it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's like art's not for just some gallery where only some people can see it. Fuck that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's like each person's expressing their stripes or their colours, and it should be seen by everyone. Yeah.
That's what I've always sort of...
Not everyone's going to like it, but fuck.
Well, that's art though, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, Cronulla's quite accessible. It has a train station pretty much right on the beach.
Yeah.
So that's what I always find interesting about the place. Like, it's really accessible to anyone from all parts of Sydney, which, when you think about it, Sydney's quite a vast city. Like, it's got a huge urban sprawl.
Fully, hey.
So for example, like Bondi, there's, you still got to catch the train to Bondi Junction, then you're going to get on a bus. But don't get me wrong, Bondi's super popular, people do go there. But there's nowhere like Cronulla where, like, you can get off the train and you're like a block from the beach and you're right on the beach, Do you think over the years, like, that's been a blessing and a curse for Cronulla?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, why?
It's an oxymoron. Oh, well, because... Yeah, I better have a think about that before I just jump into it.
I don't want to put you I don't want to put you on the spot, but...
No, put me on the spot. I need it. Keep me sharp. No, so I think we've needed it because of tourism is money. Keeps the economy going, yes?
Yeah.
Quite.
Yeah.
So there's that. And diversity, which is great. We get a mixture of people. But then the negatives of that have been, I guess, different cultures over the years that haven't understood or had an appreciation or an understanding for the people that live by the coast of their living. And so there's definitely been feet stepped on over the years, and there's been, the riots and all those different things.
Yeah, there's a history of conflict.
Yeah, there's a history of conflict and all of that. I feel like at the heart of that is like a territorialism.
Yeah.
As you said, Cronulla is at the end of the train line. So it's kind of like one way in, one way out type thing.
Gotcha.
And because of that, it's got a very isolated and insular thing to it, like a country town, and everyone becomes very, patriotic and which is nice in a way. It's, it's quite endearing and beautiful. But then on the other hand, it's like it can be a real limiting way of living or way of being.
As a local, so you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but can you maybe, like, because it was so long ago, can you maybe tell us your experience of the Cronulla riots, like from your perspective? What do they look like for you when were you here then?
Yeah, I was actually. I just got. That was one of the times. Actually, that was the first time I came back from America from going the first time, which was in what?
Yeah. Yeah.
early 2000s.
It was like, I think they were in like, sort of 2006 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know like it's in the past now, but I'm just really curious as to like, what did it look like from your perspective? Because it did make world news. I remember at the time when they happened, I was in Canada, of all places. And I had random people saying to me, there's a full race war in your country, isn't there? And I'm like, what? And I seen the footage, and I was like, it just looks like a bunch of
Idiots.
A bunch of bogans, just, like
getting pissed and
having a rowdy Sunday afternoon. But it did turn out much worse than that. But I don't know, like, what was it like on the ground level? Was it just a big storm in a teacup, or?
It was fucking ridiculous because, I can empathise with both sides. I grew up here. We had at one point we had a very small, I think. Maybe a bit more uneducated, kind of, I don't know, peasant mentality or Arab mentality. I don't want to be racist, but
yeah, it's okay.
A certain sector of society, it was Lebanese. These young Lebanese guys would come here and that would be abusive to the, some of the younger girls and just leave rubbish around and just pretty much shit all over the town and have no respect. And that was happening a lot of the time for me and my mates growing up in Cronulla.
Like that was
kind of a normal on the
commonality.
Yeah, on the weekends. Do you know what I mean? They would come down in their hotted up cars and just kind of breeze in like they own the joint. And there was just no level of respect or understanding or sensitivity to the people that were inhabiting, this space, and that ruffled feathers. And we used to get in, there was all sorts of fights and stuff going on all through my teens, into early adulthood. And then I think it just been built up over the years. And this riot was like, really, it was a bit long in the tooth.
So it was a culmination of years, years of animosity, you think?
Years of resentment and then I think just, our own bullshit that we hold on to as human beings, our own tensions and frustrations and insecurities and all that kind of thing. And then we just allow that to kind of, ferment with the racism and alcohol and some drugs and, a bit of hormones and cock and balls, and we're off to the fucking races, you know what I mean? Australians, when we've given a cause and a beer, like it's over with, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But do you think it was race-driven, or was it more like a turf war? Did it matter? Was it really driven by a difference in race? I kind of feel like it was a turf war. Like you've got people from a different suburb coming to another suburb and just being disrespectful. Like the nationalities, did they really need to be highlighted in that argument?
I guess in that actual area they did, because it was a small population or a small sector of a big community. Like I know some beautiful Lebanese people and families, with the warmest hearts and a beautiful culture and whatnot. But then you've got like anywhere, you got young little gronky, crazy Australians. You've got crazy. It's in every race.
Yeah.
But it just happened to be a lot of young ethnic kids at the time.
Yeah. And then you throw in some media exposure.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just gets exacerbated, doesn't it?
Yeah. So anyway,
sorry to go down that rabbit hole, but I don't know. Like, I'm just curious.
It was a bunch of ignorance, and it was a waste of fucking time, because that day when I was in Cronulla, there was literally one or two ethnic-looking people in the whole town that whole day.
Yep.
And they were not here to get in a fight. They were coming down here to go for a swim or whatnot. Had nothing to do with the riots. And a bunch of drunk idiots, came down and did what they did. So, I mean, it was just stupid. I mean, for it to even made the news was fucking ridiculous.
I know.
So that's all I want to say about it. Moving on.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a waste of energy
yeah,
to talk
exactly.
about.
I guess like the point I want to make is just like how difficult mainstream media can make things for people, you know, and we're seeing it. We've seen it more than ever in the last 18 months.
Oh, where there's a story and money can be made,
Yeah.
you know, and minds can be changed, then it will continue because that's how the system continues and perpetuates itself.
Yeah, and like that whole notion, they work on that whole notion.
False reality and exaggerated reality. For what?
It all comes back to greed and money. You know, they work on if it bleeds, it leads, you know, so... And, I mean, that taps into something weird of the human psyche. You know, we're voyeurs. We want to, you know, like when you drive past a car accident, like, why do you need that? Why do you need to have a gawk and a look at that, you know?
I don't, do you?
Well, I don't like... I
Shannon,
don't.
have you got a weird fetish?
But you know what I mean? Like, humans just, we want to... We're sort of attracted
I think some more than others, though.
I agree.
Because it seems that the majority of the world or the majority of our country is are not doing their own thinking.
Yeah.
Which is fucking scary because, you know, you call me a free thinker. I am a free thinker. That's why I keep to myself as well.
Really?
Yeah. Because I would rather harmonize within my own body and my own vibration most of the time than to have, you know, a lot of conflict or just, I don't know, like toxic conflicting energies around me. Yeah, you need to choose wisely where you put yourself if you're...
Is that something you're getting better at as you get older, though?
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to say...
I had no boundaries as a kid and I just... Yeah.
So you're now able... You're a bit more perceptive. You can pick up on...
I've just put myself in so many fucked up positions and ended up in so many... I wouldn't say fucked up, but like some really... maybe toxic, negative, traumatizing... stressful, maybe unnecessary, but all necessary in the end of it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, the fact that you're willing to learn from it. But do you think it's because you're quite trusting by nature and you do look for the good in people?
Yeah, I think there's a level of naivety and gullibility that's another endearing, pure kind of quality that I had from a child.
I see it in you.
Yeah, for sure. And I've still got it, but I'm also very... very perceptive, intuitive, and these are things that have been strengthened just because of survival.
Yeah.
I've had to because I've put myself in positions where, naivety got me in trouble, and it was like, fuck, or a lack of self-worth as well can really become a toxic combinational recipe.
Really?
Yeah, because think about you, if you're insecure, you're seeking validation. And I mean, that in itself is toxic. Do you know what I mean? If you need that, and I've really lived in that.
Interesting.
You know, and I have friends say, "Oh, you seem to not give a shit about anything, or you've never cared about anything." The way that I've dealt with that frustration and that tug of war or that tension within myself is by confronting it by doing things that make me uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I think like what Jughead was saying, it's like to get out of yourself, to get out of your mind, sometimes you need to go to an extreme or to, to really scare yourself. And, a lot of that is what drives me is, I think of the conservative people in my family. I think of the people that have suppressed or held back or not done or expressed themselves the way that they could or who they really fucking are. And that pisses me off and that makes me want to not live like that. Like I feel whenever I'm not being true to myself, like I feel this feeling in me like yuck. Like it's like a yuck feeling. This is not me. And I have to like basically like shake it off. Like it makes me feel like claustrophobic and stuck. And
yeah, I'll hold your mic. Kirk just shook his headphones off. But yeah, so like you can't sit with that feeling.
No, like I refuse to now.
Interesting.
Because I sat with it for so many years, trying to please, trying to feel comfortable in my own environment, my own skin. Like it was uncomfortable for so long. Not saying that I can't get uncomfortable now, but I'm learning more and more to just embrace that discomfort, because it's like,
no way.
I'm going to be me in this body for the rest of my life. I'm going to be in different situations with different people. Some are going to be comfortable, some are not. And so be it. I've lived in different countries. I had to work it out. I've been in different relationships, different careers.
Interesting.
And so it's, yeah.
I'm going to say this, but like when you say that you've suffered from levels of insecurity, it's really hard for me to comprehend, because I see you're a good looking dude. I think you've been a model before. You've been an actor, like you're a talented artist. You're a really good surfer. I mean, and for me, it's like these are the things I'd like to be able to do, So then you say you're insecure. Like it just reminds me that, you should never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. I was listening to a podcast with Daniel Johns the other night from Silverchair.
Is that good?
It is. It's actually, yeah.
Yes.
It's a pretty cool listen. I think for anyone that doesn't really know much about him as a person or whatever, it's an insight. But, my point of bringing that up is I related to a lot of... on a human level, not in the crazy lifestyle or career that he was in from a grommet, but as a person and his sensitivity and feeling kind of a bit more like a minority or an outcast within your own environment, your own town and where you grow up, and what that inner conflict creates, And, from the outside, people could look at things like someone's physical appearance, their capability in any given category, and kind of create this story, or see their family and think this, and this.
Yeah.
But like people are good actors, mate. We're all good fucking actors, whether you get paid to act or not. It's our survival mechanism. And we have our group person and our masks when we go out into society to project a certain thing. Oh, my family's great, life's great, my career's great, oh my God, everything's great. It's like, that doesn't even fucking exist. We're just like mammals on this fucking like surface working shit out and creating this system, creating these systems and lifestyles and whatnots. And the rest is, it's ego, because we don't want to feel less than, and we don't want to feel judged or whatnot. But it's all a bunch of bullshit at the end of the day. And I think I've been able to sit with it enough to stare it in the eyes and maybe be comfortable within myself with it. It seems like sadistic or something to want to put myself in uncomfortable situations or positions when I feel so sensitive. But it's like a trying to make up for something that's feels unbalanced or something.
Yeah, I get it. Have you ever had a near-death experience?
Yeah, I have actually.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I ask is because, I've read articles and heard stories and know people that have had near-death experiences. And then they adopt this mentality that you're sort of talking about, that all of a sudden life has this new perspective. Now, I read an article...
Mine wasn't drastic like that, because I'm not even conscious... I wasn't even conscious of the near-death experience. Okay, like I'd blacked out completely and forget like all of it, Okay. So I think mine's been a gradual, and I think I've been a slow, within Western confines and Western expectations, I've been pretty much a slow learner, I think, or a slow developer. But what my strength is blocking out noise now and staying true to myself, and then honing in and focusing on the things that I love, and just putting all my energy and focus into those things and working out all the kinks through that, and then spending a lot of time alone to process what I'm doing and what I'm feeling and where I want to go next. And so I try not to let many people distract my viewpoints or what I'm desiring.
Right.
Like my friends and my family, I love and I care about, and obviously I respect their opinions and whatnot. But after caring so much about what people think and what people want over the years, like so many of us do, it's just naturally a cycle within our families, you know?
Yeah.
But at some point, you know, the camel's back gets broken and you're either going to put up with it and continue it, or you're going to break it. And I can't deal with bullshit, and I can't deal with living a life that's not fucking me. Like, fuck that.
Yes.
What's the point? I could be dead like right now, like I could die right now and have a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
And knowing that I just like try to please people and conform to expectations breaks my heart.
But it hasn't made you reclusive, has it?
Maybe. Like, I mean, I can definitely isolate, but I feel like I've definitely come to more of a balance now. And I think that a lot of that comes to accepting what is. You know, there's things that I don't agree with, and there's people I don't vibrate with, but that's just life. And I'm not living in that kind of idealistic, utopian view of like, you know, one day everything's just going to be perfect and peaceful and the world's just going to vibrate as one. Hey, that's a beautiful vision.
Yeah.
But the reality in my heart and my mind is the universe is made up of negative and positive electrical energetic charges. So that makes up the balance. You can't have one without the other. So there's going to be negative experiences or perceived negative experiences, and there's going to be positive experiences and perceived positive experiences, and it will always be that way. But I feel like it's for me to navigate through that to the best of my ability, and in a way that I'm going to hopefully benefit from, and then from benefiting from it, I can put out my best self or share my best self with the world. But apart from that,
Yeah, I just find like what I've learned in my relatively short time on this earth is that I've seen cycles now of people like striving and struggling, and then they lose it all. But then I was just hanging out with a friend in Newcastle just the other day, and he was never really striving through our 20s, and even in his 30s, he was living on like literally on a camping mattress on a floor. Had nothing, and then to the point where he was so embarrassed about his living circumstances, he got a new girlfriend and he didn't even want her to see where he slept, you know. And then I hadn't seen him in almost 20 years.
That's a shitty situation to feel.
Yeah, like he was embarrassed because but it was just like that was just him. Like he was just living how he wanted to live.
But he wasn't ready to embrace that completely yet. Right? And own it, to be able to be comfortable around others in it.
Well, because he felt isolated in it. He didn't know anyone else that was trying to live like that. So he was like embarrassed about it, but he knew that for him that's what he needed to do. So it was really interesting. And now almost 20 years later, he's like 50.
Yeah.
And I went to his house and he's with that same woman. They've got a wife and kid.
No way.
And they've got a kid. And he's living in abundance financially. Like,
look at that.
Really well off. And comparatively, it was just like a bit of a trip because like I never thought I'd see him
in that position.
Living in that level of abundance. And it was like the universe just provided for him.
He stepped into his truth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I was just like,
and it's uncomfortable to begin with. I stepped away from like groups of friends even when I was like coming into my later teens. And that was because, I think butting your head against the wall, the same cycles, the same feelings when you're rocking up at the same parties, or, you know, just living a life that's not you, and you realize it at some point. It could be in the ocean while you're surfing, you have this clear moment. It could be at a party while having a beer and going, this is really not fucking me, and these people aren't my people, like, and that I'm no better than them or worse than them, but there's just not a vibration or a connection here.
Yeah.
But so many people, I think, I would see, and I still see, feeling the need to have to conform or please others and just go along with it. And not in just a supporting way, but like in an enabling kind of forceful expected way.
Yeah.
And it's like, why make someone feel that way? Like these days it's like, you know what I'm like and you're like, we like try and set a plan and then it may not work out, but then we connect when we're meant to connect. And it's like, I didn't hold a gun to your head. I don't feel guilty because, you know, because I respect you as a person and like that love won't change.
Oh, thanks, brother.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
But likewise, I love it. And like, I really like, it's a bit woo-woo and I know it's cliche, but I just feel like when you are living your truth, you start attracting the right people.
Like attracts like.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I know it's a scientific law. Is it Newton's law? I don't know. It's a law of the law of attraction.
It's
the
it's the secret.
It's the secret. There's something to it,
Shannon.
man.
It's the secret. You got to be quiet about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
No, but
I don't even know if I'm living my truth, to be honest. But
hey, we're all living some kind of truth.
Yeah, but going. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
but going back to what you were saying, I think like we don't really have control over anything. You know, like we think we do. I mean, we definitely don't have control over how we're meant to function in society. You know, we're told how to function in society by the powers that be.
But we do have a choice.
You think?
Yeah, we do.
Well, give me an example.
Okay, so in terms of rules and stuff like that, and laws, not so much. But as far as the way you choose to live your life, the way I choose to live my life every day, and my mentality, it's all in my mentality. You know, I can't bury my head in the sand ever again, because I had my head in the sand for a long time. You know, fearing people's expectations, fearing reality, feeling an unknown world and life that I didn't, really understand. And all that navigating in difficult situations and, uncomfortable and painful, all of that pressure either pushes you back inwards or it pushes you outwards, where it's like, I can't be in this cocoon anymore. I need to fucking spread my wings and fly, not to be cliche and wanky, but
it's a good one. No, it's not cliche and wanky.
Yeah, and so I'll give you an example. So I wear the clothes that I want to wear when I want to wear them. I will do the activities that I feel like doing when I want to do them. I will eat the foods that I want to eat. I'll choose to listen to radios and advertisements or TV, or I won't.
Gotcha.
I'll choose to believe in the system, or I won't.
Yeah.
I'll allow fear from the system and from others to own me and affect my day-to-day life, or I won't. So, I mean, they're choices.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have choices. You're right. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, it's true. Like, you can choose to be happy. You can choose happiness. And I heard a really cool quote the other day, probably on Instagram or some shit, but like happiness is not a destination. I think that when I think about that, I think it's really cool, because so many people are like, well, if this happens or I do this, then I'll be happy. Then everything's going to be okay. But the reality is, like, there's always going to be something that's unsettling for you, or something that is going to be challenging.
I'm not striving. I don't think I strive for happiness. And see, that's just one of those areas where an area of society which has been conditioned and conformed by everything that we're saturated by, from media to TV to film to entertainment, magazines, social media, blah, blah, blah. All those things have, like, conditioned us so much to believe that, like, there's this specific way to live, or there's this goal to reach for it within, like, an emotional state. Like, happiness, in my experience, happiness isn't like this continual attainable feeling that just kind of, like, stays within me at all times. It might be for others, and fucking God bless you. But in my experience, man, like
They're full of shit.
yeah, well, maybe they're not. You know, I'd like to try to maintain some level of inner peace as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I try and do that through living the way that I live, spending time alone, spending time in nature, pursuing and wanting to progress in what I do. You know, and that drives me as well. So much to the degree that I can block a lot of other pointless shit out. So I can use my art or my surfing to express myself, but I can also do it to escape.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you need to escape levels of discomfort or things that don't feel right, and that energy is going into something that's feeding your soul and your being and maybe inspiring others, then fucking amen.
Dude, these are really good messages. Like what you just said about, you know, you get out in nature, like you make yourself go out in nature, you know, and you know, you be alone. I think
just watch kids. It's as simple as that. Watch kids. Children are the best teachers and the best examples, and a lot of us do, and understandably in the way that we're expected to live with 9-to-5 jobs and blah blah blah. You know, that will beat the child out of you or suppress or squash the child that is within you down. And some people come back from that, and some people just stay in that zombie state of, I am now an adult and my childhood is over and I am getting old and I have to do these specific things to exist within this society. But you don't. And, yeah.
Here's a little observation that I've made in terms of my life journey. When you become a parent, all of a sudden you just have a whole new purpose in life, and your needs become very, very secondary or third. Like they're way down the list. And all of a sudden it's like working that job that you hate to provide for your children doesn't seem so bad anymore, because you will sacrifice your happiness in a second for your children. So that's something maybe to contemplate, and I've been contemplating. I understand it. I never really understood it till I had kids. Now, you know, it's each to their own, but not that that's what I want to do is stay stuck in a doing something that I hate for the rest of my life. But I'll tell you what, if I had to for my kids, I'd do it.
Yeah, it's more palatable.
It's more palatable because it's like,
no, I respect that, and I admire that. I can't obviously relate because I'm not a father.
I'm not trying to say it to make you feel like you don't understand. I'm just it's like you don't have kids, you don't know what you're talking about. No, but like it's something I just want to put out there.
Oh, it's a totally different way of living and responsibility that I can't relate to, and it has a different level of.
Well, I couldn't either.
Yeah.
I really couldn't. I used to give my friends shit who had kids. I'm like,
kids are beautiful, and I think we'll just quickly go back to what I was saying about kids. Is the fact that look how simple they live. You know what I mean? It's like it's moment to moment. You know, and if that means you have to change your job in order to kind of live a little bit more free, then like. Yeah, I'm willing to do so, and that's why I live the way that I live, you know. And some people just look at me and think, oh, he's eccentric or he's kooky or he's weird or whatnot. But, you know, like if children, I think the best barometer
Who thinks that?
The best barometer to know that I'm on track is when I get out of the surf. I had a moment yesterday. I got out of the surf and I was talking to this lovely guy who's Mick Mackey, the Shaper's brother.
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, so I was just in this really good zone and I was hanging out with a friend and the sky was just red hot and then psychedelic purple and it was just fucking beautiful. And there was no real waves, and then I ran into him and he's like, oh, do you want to have a go with this board? I caught 2 waves, you know. And then I came in and I was talking with him and oh, that's right. There was these kids on the beach and they were screaming out to their friends in the water. You know, these kids were probably 10 or whatever. And I pretended like they were my parents, like telling me to go in because there was like this nipper event on and all the parents were up in the surf club drinking, like when I was a kid. So I was like shouting out to them. I was in the water with my friend and she was getting embarrassed. And I was just like, I'm not going in yet. I haven't finished. But really getting into it. And they were looking in and they were laughing, but they were kind of like, what is this guy? And they were confused and they went quiet for a bit. And so I stopped interacting with them. And then, within about 2 minutes, they start shouting out again because they're like, they've realized that this guy kind of is a bit different and he can be a child kind of thing. There's this energetic understanding. And so then I'll start shouting out again. Anyway, so I come on the beach and then I'm surrounded by all these grommets and, I'm joking around with them and doing voices and stuff. And I feel so comfortable in that zone because I'm being my true self. Kids read bullshit. Children know a lie as soon as they see it, as soon as they feel it and smell it. Yeah. So if I'm vibrating and kids are digging what I'm doing or what I'm putting out there, like whether it's my art or my surfing or the way I interact with them, that gives me a good feeling. And that's more of a validation than any fucking rich fat fuck in a suit or someone who's got some, shallow view of who I am or what I should be.
Dude.
It's so fucking backwards.
Dude, for someone who's not a parent, man, you just fully summed it up, bro. Because I find with kids with my kids anyway, the sillier I behave, right, the more stoked they are.
Yeah.
The more childlike and immature I act, they just love it.
Right.
And they don't give a fuck how much money you've got. They don't care what you do, what kind of status you've got or anything like that.
When you love someone and that
present and they want you to play. And that's what I was going to say. I think you would be the raddest dad because you've got so much love in you, Kirk. I can see it, And like you said, kids we talk about sensitivity and empaths and stuff. Really, kids are the ultimate empaths.
Yeah.
They're so sensitive, man. They feel everything. Like I know, like my kids, if we were down in the shopping centre the other day and there was someone yelling at another person and from hundreds of metres away and they were like, Daddy, like they just felt the darkness,
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Anyway, so I just think you would be the best dad. And not that, okay, like maybe you're not going to provide the fancy gear and clothing for them or whatever, but, you just give them love and that's all they care about. And time and silly behaviour.
I'll make sure there's a house as well.
Make sure there's a house.
Yeah.
But you know what you'll do? You would just work that out because...
but at the same time... No, I appreciate that. But at the same time... as nomadic and free-spirited as I am, I still have notions and little snippets of kind of traditions or ways of looking at things that maybe I learned from my parents or just, accumulative experiences or,
programs
that now direct my thinking. But I wouldn't just be irresponsible and have a child without having some financial backing or at some level of savings. I just wouldn't do that. I've been married before. I almost was in a position where I was in that. I chose to walk away from that relationship because I knew in my heart that I was about to end up in one of those situations that I've watched so many times with friends and people around me, which was pretty much succumbing to or just kind of settling into something that seemed like comfortable or it was good enough or this is what everyone else does. And then, thank God I could see the light and God kept me awake enough to act on that, and there was pain. I hurt someone and it hurt me and whatnot. But the fact is that person isn't living a lie now and I'm not living a lie. So I'm free in that sense and they're free in that sense. And there's not a child and there's not a mortgage and there's not all that stuff. So in that sense, I'm very free and I'm blessed in that way. I've made a lot of crazy decisions that have hurt me and I guess I've made a lot of good decisions which have left me in this position where I'm not bogged down or tied down by anything. Which is why I live the way I live, and I'm a man of experiences. Like, experience is what feeds me. experience with people, experience with traveling, experiences with nature, art, and money's great too. I love money, and I save money, but it's not my main focus, and I don't need it to.
I think it's okay.
If no one likes me because of the way I live or what, like, I don't need them in my life.
And I think that's why I've been drawn to you as a guest over the years now, is because of, like, I want to advocate for those life approaches, and I, in my opinion, I feel like you're really epitomizing it. Like that. That, like, just living an authentic life and being true to yourself. Like, I think we need more of it. People need to know that, like,
you can do your own
thing, And it is coming out more and more. Like, I just read an article.
It's scary, but it's
fucking terrifying.
It's so much more enriching and stimulating than being a follower.
100%. I just read an article on Stab Magazine, I think it was, with Mick Campbell and his girlfriend.
Yeah, that looks good, actually.
Mick Campbell was put into a coma. He had an accident. And then after that, and I think and his girlfriend, she damaged her knee pretty badly. She was meant to have a reconstruction. And anyway, she rehabbed her way out of this knee injury just through healthy living, diet, rehab exercises. And they both just decided that after their experiences that they weren't going to conform, and that they realised that all that we really have in this world is our health, our friends, our family, and just lots of love. And then that's how they live their life now. And I think they're travelling around, they're living in a van, and I know, like, some people might go, oh, that's just maybe they're being irresponsible and they're not contributing to society and all that. But let's face it, man, like, look at the state of our society. It's like, I just see I'm seeing, without sounding too pessimistic, I just see a lot of really unhappy people, and you just have to look at the data, like, in relation to mental illness.
There's not one society anyway, and there's not one community. So why should everyone have to conform to one society's viewpoints or expectations or rules?
Thank you.
It doesn't make any sense. If you want to conform with that and play along with that, that is your choice. If you choose to be your own person and your own thinker and vibrate alone and then vibrate with those that you connect with, you're going to have a more richer experience. And it seems, for some people, I think that seems boring when you strip away all the unnecessary things.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the only way I can really feel like alive and free is not having all those unnecessary burdens, because I know I'm not here forever. So those things that I put around me, they're only going to numb me and make me forget about why I'm actually here and what my purpose is.
Just disconnected, yeah.
Yeah, and so I just want to say really quickly, the simplest way to put it, and I'm not the only person that feels this way or thinks this way. I think it's fairly common in the arts. Artists have to come from that place of truth. And, some of the best advice I got was from an acting teacher in LA, Rick Walters. And he was this old guy, and he taught a lot of famous actors over the years. But he was just this real dude, and he was humble, and he taught out of this old, shabby kind of theatre kind of stage. And his whole acting technique wasn't a bunch of, like, running around and pretending to be a butterfly or, those kinds of things. It was very, very much grounded in a philosophy of life.
Right.
So, for example, every single person in this world has two people within them. We have our group person and our non-group person. Our group person is the one that conforms, the one that feels the need to please, the one that follows the rules, right? And why is that? Because that is the way that we feel safe. We don't feel threatened. We don't feel judged. And we can just stay in that comfortable zone and just go along with the herd, and everything's nice and whatnot, right? It's safe. The non-group person is I fucking don't agree with this government and their bullshit system. I don't agree with what you're saying necessarily, and it's not because I'm right. It's just I don't have the same opinion as you. So it's being willing to like basically be your true self and say it how it is. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean just be a blatant asshole. And I've been that, you know, on my journey to getting to this point, I've gone to that side to the extreme and that side to the extreme. You know, complete people pleaser and then complete fucking rebel renegade, just fuck everything and people can conform to my shit and, you know, and then getting to a point where it's like, I don't have to agree with everything and I don't have to conform and I can still coexist within this world and it's fine. So like that zone of being a child, the two things that I do are the two things that maintain that. One is surfing and one is art. And what have they both got in common? They're both places where you go to be in the zone state, which is like basically no thinking. You're just in the zone of pure source and energy and just that feeling of, you know, creativity. And the more I think anyone stays in that place of curiosity and creativity and exploration, that is what keeps someone young, you know, and I think the body will maintain a level of health and youth if one radiates from that place, like if that's the inner guiding force. Because, you know, when kids are younger, they might go, oh, Ferrari's cool, or I want this when I'm older, a big house and blah, blah, blah. But they're pretty detached from that vision for the most part. They're just like, things are so new and like I've got mates and like we've got these things in common and it's so simple. We complicate the fuck out of it as we get older.
We do.
I'm rambling.
No, you're not, but that's a beautiful message, man. Really beautiful message. So thanks, bro. Yeah.
It's just being aware of, am I being my group person right now or am I being my non-group person? It doesn't mean every person has to go out and just start telling everyone the truth and like, I think your hat's fucking ugly. I don't think your hat's ugly, but
thank you.
You know, just spitting the truth or why you were vegan or why you were meat eater or just judging and questioning everything. It's like, you don't need to.
Yeah, and you don't need to be preachy.
You don't need to be preachy with it, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Just worry about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Man, I love that, dude. Oh, dude, I'm just sitting here like trying to like digest it all, but I was just also thinking on a complete side note, don't you reckon it's so rad that dudes are starting to talk like this now?
Yeah, it is.
Like it's happening more and more.
I think it's been a long time coming.
I'm noticing a real change even in the last year. I'm noticing like more men willing to have these conversations.
Do you feel like it's the younger generation coming
100%. 100%. I'm seeing it more and more and like
their influence on even older generations around now or just
I think
them taking over and pushing their own thing?
You nailed it. I think the new generation is actually influencing the older generation.
Interesting, eh?
Yeah, because it's like, you know, I'm not down with the next gen, but, you know, there's this...
Why not?
This wall, I don't know. But, like,
Are you gen hating?
I'm not gen hating, but they're like this woke movement. You know, it cops shit, but I actually think it's rad. It's like, yeah, fair enough. Like, you want to be a deep thinker and you want to, like, look at ways to live your best life. Like, yeah, people might hate on you or give you shit about it on social media, but fuck them. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's okay to talk about your feelings, especially the dudes. You know, women seem to be much better at it in general. But, like I said, I'm just noticing it more and more other places I go. It's like there's no shame in it.
Yeah.
There's less shame in it. Whereas I think when we were younger in our teens, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, I would never have these conversations.
Anything that was connected to emotion. You know what? I feel like up until the point that I first started smoking marijuana with my younger mates, which was about, I guess, 13.
Is that when you started smoking weed?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I might have had a smoke a bit younger, but that's when I was like starting to do it more.
Interesting.
And that was one of the first times where, you know, a group of young surfer boys rough and trying to impress each other and, outdo each other, finally got to a point where like all of that ego and bravado dropped and we're all in this room passing this pipe around and all of a sudden we're talking about these things and like it's not planned, it's just coming up.
Feeling great.
Yeah, like nearly every single person, like the 5 people in the room, all had one thing in common. We all came from broken homes or families that had been divorced, and a couple of my mates had it a lot rougher than me. I didn't come from, I had friends living in housing commission and whatnot. It wasn't a nice area. It was still in Cronulla, but I knew that they had less, and it was a bit more of a raw upbringing. Yeah. But we all bonded on that level of maybe being outcasts as well. People that may have struggled intellectually at school or not agreed with society, and so you form this bond, and I think the marijuana really helped kind of create a neutral.
See, that was I was going to ask you that. Do you think marijuana was the catalyst for that?
It was, but then I abused it as well. I took it to the extreme, the other way, and just abused that, and didn't actually keep doing the investigation. It just became about the feeling of being high,
right?
And then also, the more I felt that comfort, the less I wanted to partake with the world at all or any of the ways. So I became very jaded and very closed off. So it went the opposite way. The thing that was helping me was actually hurting me, to the point where like that's when I like checked myself into AA, because that's just where I ended up, and that's what I needed. I think to hit a rock bottom and then come back to life, So it's interesting. It's like, you could be a really obsessive exerciser or someone who's very obsessive with diet, and I've been all of these things.
Or workaholic.
Yeah, and they become a negative, something that's very like positive and purposeful and giving and rewarding can become this taxing, destructive, toxic kind of thing, because the balance is gone now, and I know that so well. The pendulum over my life, I take medication for bipolar. But yeah, fuck, the pendulum for my life, if you speak to my family, it's like up, down and around the corner, you know what I mean? There's been very little in-betweens. I think this is the most neutral I've been in my whole life.
Wow.
I still have like a temper sometimes. I can get pissed off with like police and it's always to do with authorities. Yeah, my whole life it's been authorities, because no one has the right to tell anyone else what to fucking do. Like that's as simple as like whatever suit you're in, whatever family you came from, whatever class you're in, whatever financial level you're at.
Yeah.
You're just another human being on this earth, and like no one's fucking better than anyone. We have different gifts that are stronger or more prominent than others, but apart from that, we're baseline human beings, and who the fuck can tell me what to do, and I can't tell you what to do.
I know, but the law says otherwise.
The law says otherwise in human nature, for the most part, is following that,
It does. It taps
there wouldn't be war and there wouldn't be all of this.
It taps into something primal. It really does. Because, even growing
it's like an animal being tried to put in captivity. It's not natural. You know what I mean? The monkey's going to rebel at the beginning. It's going to try and bang the cage and scream and throw things around. And why would it be any different from us?
Yeah.
But we've been so conditioned and conformed for so long that the natural way seems so foreign and scary. So it's like, maybe just staying in this cage isn't that bad, eh? Like, there is space, there's a little bit of light, I can breathe, they're giving me food, It
could be worse.
It could be worse. But it's like, it doesn't have to be that way in the first place. Just kick the fucking cage door open and go and walk around outside a little bit. You might find a different way of living that suits you more, and you may have to step away from the comforts of your friends and the comforts of your luxuries in order to discover that. And yeah, it's uncomfortable, and yeah, it's scary as hell, but you get to really feel joy in being you. And and it's not like joy all the way through. It's the same ups and downs as everyone else, but it's such a freeing and joyous feeling to know that I'm still being that kid that I was when I, popped out of my mum. Like I'm still trying to be in touch with that
The inner
being,
child, that childlike
not being
awe and wonder.
Yeah, not being childish, but being childlike for sure. And I get there's times where I
love
feel
that.
old and
Not being
jaded,
childish, but childlike.
I can let things really weigh me down, but for the most part, I try not to.
Yeah. That's so I was just thinking about the marijuana thing. Like, I don't want to like go down too much of a rabbit hole with it, but I think that's another thing that has been programmed into our society that it's this evil drug. But you said that you did have a tendency to abuse it. How has your relationship with it changed then, since then? If you don't mind me asking.
No, that's why we're here. My relationship with it has changed. I don't feel like I rely on it or expect it to do everything for me like I did as a child.
Yeah.
I thought, I'll just have this magic green smoke and everything will just work out and fall into place. I feel like I'm able to use it as maybe more of a tool. But at the same time, I would say to you that I'm an addictive person. Whatever terms you want to use, maybe I'm an addict. But
See, I disagree. Okay.
well, marijuana seems to be a medicine for me. My life's not unmanageable.
You're healthy.
I'm healthy.
It's
I've got like 2 forms of income. One of my favorite things and I guess an ability that's evolving is taking off my art and even just getting, not a tip of the hat from people that I've respected in the surf world now.
it's amazing.
From getting a bit of exposure through, south of the bridge, Pete, my mate who shoots beautiful photos, and Tim Benithan who's, filmed me, and I've got this other project coming out with Mark Bramley, which is basically a portrait of my life, maybe a bit more in a visual way, like we're having this conversation and you get to hear how I feel, this audio. So I'm excited about that as well, because it's another project where I'll just get to show my truth and who I am.
Yeah. Wow, man.
But I feel like marijuana is just, I don't know, it's like dipping into, it's like a truth serum or something for me.
Is it just an arrow in your quiver? Like it's not all of you. It's just a piece of the jigsaw puzzle. I mean, I made a decision to never sort of smoke marijuana again. However, I do feel that it's been a substance that's just been completely demonized when it shouldn't have been. And like you said, people will abuse many things, like, and I see this plant-based, substance that, maybe isn't as insidious as they first thought, especially with all the data coming out around its medicinal benefits and, medicinal marijuana and stuff. And I don't know, do you think it needs to be legalized or what?
Well, yeah, that's a funny one. Like I could just give you like a.
Oh, not there.
Sorry, guys, I'm rolling a joint. It's a weird one because, like, at the end of the day, we're still living within the same fucking systematic construct. So, it's like, we could make marijuana legal, but it's not like it's just going to make everything perfect and easy. Like, oh, wow, we can just go to, like, the marijuana store and everyone can just get free weed all the time. They're not going to make it that fucking easy. At the end of the day, there's still an outside entity or force, let's just call it, like the people who are running the country, the world, that still want to control the way we use things, or why we use things, or what we pay for things, or how we get things. And that is the root of it all, and that is what I don't agree with. So I shouldn't have to say, do I think? Yes, I think they should legalize it. They shouldn't have a fucking say in what is. Do you know what I mean? And I understand, the war on drugs is a crock of shit.
Joke.
But I understand people looking out for the well-being of younger people or human beings, because crack and heroin and all those things can be very, very destructive, and any drug can be, or substance. But the education and the brainwashing of what these drugs are and what they can do and what type of person is attracted to those things is very misguided and ignorant. We're still, for the most part, we've got a viewpoint, I think, in younger children do, where they see someone in the park and they look a bit draggy or whatnot. They're like, oh, that's a bad person. He's a drug addict. He's a dirty stranger. And because their parents are trying to protect them, and teachers and all that. But then we get this viewpoint of what a drug addict is or what an alcoholic is. And the truth of it is they're a sick person, who have been traumatized in some way or haven't been able to deal with their feelings or experiences in life. And this is being the nurturing, soothing feeling that they've found, and they need that to just get through the day, just like someone needs antidepressants, just like somebody needs insulin for their diabetes, or self-medicating, and and then we look at them and put them down like they're scum of the earth.
When it should be a health problem, not a criminal problem.
But there's a lack of empathy, because the empathy's cut short by the programming of what those people are. If they're dirty scum and they're bad people, then we don't need to empathize with them, right?
Yeah.
So then we close off our emotions and we get on with our day, and we put people into categories.
Thank you.
And that's,
Then we don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
and
what
I get that, because it's painful to look at a lot of things. It's painful to look at my own shit, and it's painful to look at a lot of the shit in the world.
100%,
but
dude.
You can't completely, as we said before, put your head in the sand.
Well, you can't. I'm so glad you said all that. I've talked about that a little bit before on here, actually. I don't see people in the street as who may be struggling or getting homeless people. I don't see them as scumbags or scum of the earth anymore. I just see, someone who is so desperate that they're self-medicating, and that's the only way that they're surviving in this world. And it should be drug addiction should be treated as a health problem, not a criminal problem. We're turning these sick people then into criminals. So how are they then ever going to get a restart in this life once they get that criminal record? For the rest of their life, on their record, given the way our society is structured,
it's so destructive.
It will pop up for them for the rest of their life, and they'll be limited to their job prospects and earning potential for many, many years to come. And it's very hard to get out of.
Yeah, and that's not just the people that are doing the hiring. That's the people within the society who also have an opinion about who you are and whether they're willing to socialize with you or be seen with you because of your status.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So I'll give you an example of this, right? So on the Esplanade, I just finished the mural the other day, and this guy that I'd seen walking around for years, really kind of interesting, eclectic, eccentric-looking guy. Anyway, turns out he's a brilliant artist who has, some paintings in the Australian Gallery, a museum, sorry. But one of the first things he said to me once we kind of struck a chord, he was in his 50s, long hair, kind of... just a bit left of field, and my people. And he said to me, you should come dumpster diving with me sometime. And I looked at it.
Challenging for you?
No, no, because you know what? My whole life, and my parents even say this, I've always interacted with every type of human being. When I was young, I would talk to homeless people. I would talk to drag queens, transsex. That's who I am. Do Do you know what I mean? I have a love for just like humans and energy. Like,
You're not actually judging them by the outside or what
no,
they do.
like
It's if you're getting a good vibe off someone, they're your people.
Yeah, you got a vibe. You got a vibe. You know what I mean? If you're real with me, I'm real with you, and I've always been like that. So when someone says, "Oh, you should come dumpster diving," it doesn't really faze me or weird me out or gross me out because it's not my known or it's foreign to me because I don't live that way.
Yeah.
But I don't need to judge it because I get it. Like that guy's saving $10,000 a year. This is factual. This is what he told me. And look at it like this, right? He's not going into a dirty, scummy bin that's just been filled with garbage every day.
Yeah.
There's a bin that they specifically put things that are outdated or a bunch of eggs that one's cracked in. They'll put them out that day. And they're all packaged. They're all in, still wrapped up. Yeah. So,
it's actually...
what my response to him was, my ego's too big for that. And
you actually said
I
that
actually said that. And he laughed because he said, that's most people's problem. He says...
It's the ego.
It's the ego. They care about what other people are thinking. He said, I'm saving $10,000 a year. Yeah. He said, I'm getting perfectly good food. I don't care what other people think. And that's the only thing that stops people from doing certain things. You know, what clothes you buy, what food you eat, what car you drive. We don't even realize, but that's so much guided and influenced by our surroundings and what others are expecting.
We're programmed.
So,
But, it's funny that practice of dumpster diving. I also see it as a sustainability practice because, I mean, think of the waste. Like, they're
Straight up.
They're throwing out perfectly good food while there's people suffering and starving. It's just...
But most people I don't think are aware of to be able to say, to just be able to say, oh, well, I get that and that's fine, as opposed to what a dirty cretin.
Or a scab, Yeah. It's like, oh, they're a scab. When it's like, no, really, they're just way smarter than you.
Yeah. I was speaking to a guy that I really like and respect. I used to do some scaffolding work with him, Dane Johnson, and he was just saying the other day, I was talking about that guy, and I said he's so interesting and intelligent, that guy, and he goes, most intelligent people are quirky and, are a little bit different and love, kind of appreciate more of their own company and their own space. And yeah, it's so easy to just put someone in a box, but if you just take a shot or a chance or a moment sometimes to just talk to a homeless person or someone that looks a little bit different than the norm.
Yeah.
You'll have some of the best interactions and conversations with these people and be blown away. And then just one of those experiences alone can really just kind of blow you apart to be open for the next one, I reckon. And
then when you hear their stories, if you do speak to a homeless person, most of the time they were like you and I, but life took a bad turn. Some of them suffered horrendous tragedy, maybe the loss of loved ones, family members got killed. Sexual abuse is a very common one.
Abuse, emotional abuse.
For a lot of men, they could be they didn't recover from a horrendous divorce and they lost everything and they don't see their children, and then it threw them into just unmanageable depression, and then next thing you know, when they're in that state,
drinking, drugs,
the rest of their life falls apart, and they can't hold down jobs or professional relationships, and next thing you know, the money's gone, and next thing you know, they're on the street. And I hate to say it, but it can happen to fucking anybody.
Yeah,
you think you've got it all sorted, but your life is that precarious. I think people get too comfortable. You just don't know what's around the corner, for good and for bad too.
Well, we've set up our lifestyles predominantly to feel that way.
100%.
False security.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm in this little apartment right now.
Yeah.
But
for now.
But I mean, a big storm could come or a plane could run into it or whatever. So I feel secure right now, and I'm secure from most things, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not really in control of being completely secure. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then conversely, then like the other thing that could happen tomorrow is that you get commissioned for one of the biggest murals in the world.
Yeah.
And they offer you $1 million, and then that sparks off a massive career change, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
Like, so it can happen either way.
Well, that's
you know?
that's why I live my life like with the support work. I get to be myself, and I get to choose my hours and the days that I work. So having that as a was what some artists would call like my side hustle, you know. But it gives me the platform to kind of jump out into the world as a creative at any point. Do you know what I mean?
Dude, you're leaving.
I'm not controlled by anyone. I don't have a boss. But that's what I want to be, because I'm creative and I want to keep exploring and expanding. So if somebody says, let's go do this project, I'm ready to go right now. I don't have things holding me back.
That's
it. Yeah. And, you know, I feel like I've got a lot of life in me, and I've got a lot of growing and stuff to do. So, like, I really feel like I'm just scratching the surface and kind of coming into my own as a person.
I see it.
And with that, I know my work's going to evolve, and the things that I do will be, I don't know, hopefully like a more of a pure expression, or a more direct expression of who I am, or just a different way of expressing it, you know, in different art forms. It doesn't have to be just painting or surfing. I love expressing in many ways.
You don't know where the journey's going to take you, man.
You do never know.
But you're on it.
Yes.
That's why another reason I love speaking to artists, because I just feel like every time you do an artwork, you're leaving a legacy. So, like, really, what are you going to leave in the world? You know, and like when you pass on, which you will, you know, you've left all these objects of beauty for other people to look at and be inspired by, and you don't know who's going to look at them.
No.
And you don't know who's going to be inspired.
No.
And you don't know what sort of change that's going to spark in their life. You know, and that's what I think artists epitomise the whole idea of a legacy. I mean, photographers too, like when they document, like, you know, I think I talked about this with Pete, they're documenting, they're leaving these legacy items, you know. So
for sure.
It's rad, man.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because how are we doing for time?
Dude, it's like an hour and a half, but...
We'll wrap it up.
Yeah, man, sure. It's up to you.
I just wanted to say, connecting to what... No, you go.
No, you go. Yeah, I will just talk about legacy shit.
Yeah, so as far as like legacy, first of all, I make the work because physically and mentally, and I think probably my whole being benefits from the doing of it, the focus, the being in the zone, the using of my hands, the being in the space where I trust my actions, where I feel my feelings, where I explore ideas and things that I maybe haven't even thought about or talked about with anyone. And then the part is of it's like that primal need or want to leave behind a legacy, or to feel like I've done something, to have something tangible for others to remember me by. Yeah, which I feel like is very deep and intrinsic with having goals and you know, making a painting. Yeah, like I do want to be remembered, and I would love people to benefit in whatever way, or appreciate in whatever way the things that I've created. Yeah, but I don't feel like I'm going to change the world. Like I may, you know, I think we all play a part in affecting the world, but yeah, I'm not in. I'm in no ignorant, arrogant mindset of my art is changing the world one day at a time.
But you don't know that, but you don't. It may, like, you don't know.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Like,
I may be knighted in 30 years to come, Sir Kirk Jenkins.
What about? Would you ever pick up your acting career again?
Well, it's funny because was it really a career?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, it's funny, you know, because
you desired to be an actor. or acting?
Well, I'll say laugh at that because I guess growing up in a town where some people have done a bit of acting or been in the entertainment world.
Yeah.
But most people not. So, your friends and people around you get kind of like a view of what you've done and what it was like and that kind of thing. So, for example, I was in a film. I acted in Newcastle, which is an amazing experience, and I'd done some acting training prior to it, but that wasn't a thing that I'd grown up desiring to do. It was my spirit kind of guided me the same as with the caring work or the art, Yeah. But my point is, I kind of found a love for performing and acting, or realized within the realms of film by making that film. And then I thought, this could be a great career, and I'll explore this, and
Is that a Jane Campion film?
No,
Okay.
American
Australian director.
No, American director Dan Castle.
Okay.
But I had no idea on how the industry worked or what that meant. So, I'm thinking, I'm coming out of a film. I may get an offer to go back into another film. Like that's just what I was so green. I knew nothing. And that's not what happened. And then I went into a deep depression after that and really kind of kicked off like an eating disorder. And
Why? What sparked the depression then? Because
I felt so unworthy the whole time and just so hard on myself. Am I doing the right thing?
like a big
I feel like I'm
countdown.
going to fuck up the whole film. That extreme level of it's ego, and it's like detrimental, and it's self-serving at the same time.
Insecurity.
Yeah, but it's like, it's really toxic. But then that took me to, I guess, America, because I thought I've saved money from this film.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to America and find out, because it was in the film festivals over there in New York.
Amazing.
So it was in Robert De Niro's film festival, Tribeca.
No way.
So I went from doing my first film, just kind of going, wow, this is crazy,
I've heard of that festival. Is that Robert De Niro's?
Yeah, it's in New York. So I was like a deer in headlights, and I thought, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And so I moved over there and studied there intensively, and got a working visa and did some acting jobs, commercials, and little what's it called? Some stuff on the Sci-Fi Channel and blah blah blah. But being over there, it turned me off acting, or I just felt really overwhelmed and almost repulsed by it.
Repulsed by it.
Yeah, because I was now in this city where everyone wanted to be that.
Gotcha.
It's this
And it's
this
impossible.
culture that's bred from so many generations of Hollywood, entertainment. Be a star. You are a star. Come to Hollywood. Be unique. Everyone's pushed from a young age to be the next Michael Jackson, the next Michael Jordan. So, you go over there and it's just
It's intense.
yeah, it almost makes you want to vomit. It's too much. I couldn't get away from it. I want to be an actor. I'm an actor. I'm a director. I'm a singer. I'm a musician. I'm
Scriptwriter.
yeah, script writer, producer, director, and that can be great if you're collaborating with these people. But there's just a lot of shit talkers as well that don't do anything.
Yeah.
And so navigating that as a younger guy, not really didn't really have anyone around me guiding me.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of predators and all that kind of thing. So I think that really jaded my experience with wanting to pursue acting. I love performing, and I would jump on going into a film or a performance in a heartbeat if it was with the right person and it was a great, story or whatnot. But going to the auditions and just that grind of going for KFC commercials, just doing any acting job just to feel like I'm an actor. I'm a working actor, man. I did a McDonald's commercial but most actors don't want to be living off a McDonald's commercial. They're just doing it so they don't have to work a normal job.
Yeah, it does to be a waiter.
You know what I mean? But I don't desire that. I did that grind, and it doesn't appeal to me in any way. I would rather create my art and not be relying on someone else to say, Well, I guess I still have to rely on someone else to say you got the job. But
Well, it's all yours. And you're not actually like doing it for someone else's dream or vision. I guess when you're acting someone's movie, you're really like fulfilling someone else's dream.
you're all, yeah, but it's a teamwork as well.
Yeah.
It's a team effort. So.
But your art it's all you, bro. It's all you.
It's me and God, bro.
Statue, bro.
Bro.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Statue.
Statue.
Statue, bro.
Oh, bro, it's me. Fucking hell. You got me. Dude, I've been baffling on for so long, rambling. I talk so much shit, eh, bro?
No, bro. I love how I could listen to you all day. You're actually on fire this episode. Maybe even more than the last episode.
And on fire, you mean
Like you just really, I feel like you're
burning bag of shit.
I don't know. I'm just going to make a final observation. I just feel like you seem like you're in a good place in your life at the moment, Kirk. You seem happy, content,
I'm not happy.
maybe slightly stoned.
I don't use that word happy, really.
Okay, well, no, content. You seem very content and fulfilled.
I'm fairly at ease right now.
I see a fulfillment.
Yeah.
And just inspired, and it's obviously coming out in your artwork because I've just noticed, and we're casually friends, we catch up every now and then and we talk, but I can just see that your artwork, you're producing a lot of artwork, and that must mean you're inspired and working and feeling like you want to work. So whatever you're doing, man, keep doing it, and hopefully some other people resonate with that.
Oh, they will. There's more vibrators out there that will vibrate with me. I know.
The vibrations, man, they exist.
Hey, baby.
They exist. Now, listen, man, I ask all guests to come to the podcast with like a cause that they want to support or advocate for. If you haven't got anything for us today, that's okay, because I've got something I want to advocate for today. You got a charity or anything? Or
I'm going to advocate.
Or philosophy?
Philosophy.
Okay, go.
Do your own thinking. You don't always have to follow what other people think or expect. You're here on your own terms and conditions, so explore a bit of what that is.
Yes, I felt that. I felt the vibration on that one. I feel it now.
Amen. Thank you, God. Thank you.
A cause I want to actually advocate for, there's a group of guys, I don't actually even know these guys, but I've just been sussing out what they're doing because I really respect it. In my hometown of Wollongong, they've started up an initiative called Talk to Me, Bro. Talk to me,
bro. That's sweet as. Sorry, continue.
Oh, man, I'm going to get bashed by my Pacific Islander audience. But they've got an initiative called Talk to Me, Bro, and they just have a whole bunch of different events that they're putting on. Like they're putting one on Thursday. They've got ice baths set up, and you go and they do a group men's circle and things like that. And they just seem like just legit dudes just doing it for the love, they're not massive. So you can follow them on Instagram. It's called Talk to Me, Bro.
That's sick.
It's really good. It's good. And he did it. And the guy, I don't actually even know the guy, but he did a thing called Walk With Me, Bro, where he was raising money by walking large distances, over a period of time, and just fucking taking action. Not just talking about the shit, but just actually doing it.
And that's admirable as well with so many Polynesian and Islanders, the way they've been brought up to not express emotions, know?
But he's not Polynesian.
Ah.
No, he might be. But
no, I said Islander or Polynesian. You said Maori, no?
No.
Ah.
No,
okay. Sorry. Got it wrong when you said, ciao, bro. Sounded very anyway, go on.
It's just funny that you decided to do that accent because I was already thinking of, anyway, whatever. So, listen, man, if you scroll down on this episode, you'll find a link to the Talk to Me Bro initiative. I'll also quote verbatim Kirk's quote and philosophy he just advocated for. And you can find this episode on terriblehappytalks.com. Go there. It's got its own built-in media player. It's got links to our partners that support the show. You can do all that sort of stuff. But you can also find this podcast on all the major podcasting platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, blah, 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 whatever. You'll find it. Google it. Search it up. But whatever your platform you like to listen on, please, subscribe, leave a review and all that shit. It just sort of, I don't know, I
And follow at This Is Kirk Jenkins on Instagram.
Dude, what happened
'Cause
to
this
your
is-
Instagram?
My
You're
Instagram got hacked by something or someone.
How detrimental to that? Sorry to go off on a tangent.
Yeah, no.
How detrimental to you is that as an artist? Because you had
Well, no, it's
thousands-
interesting because it comes back to the public perception, the social perception of me. Do you know what I mean? That's all it comes down to. Oh, he's important because he's got this amount of followers, and now
You
he's
did.
less important. No, but the fact is, apart from that element or that aspect, it hasn't affected work.
Hasn't it?
No, because people are seeing my art, and not everyone's on social media. And then, like, the work speaks for itself. So, I want to build a rapport and a reputation on the street, not just on social media. Because I want people on the ground, like real people that support my work. And then I also have like the support or fan base or whatever you want to call it on Instagram. But Instagram isn't going to pay my bills unless I'm getting work through it.
Gotcha.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Are you rebuilding your social media profile now?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's leaving.
I get it.
It's just
I get
leaving
it.
my modern age thumbprint for people to just be able to check out. All right, that's his flavor. Yeah, I dig it or I don't dig it.
You're in a visual medium.
Yeah, or
You
I
know,
want to
that's what you
collab or
do.
whatever. Yeah, I'm accessible.
There's
You
no
can-
shame in it.
Hell no, man.
Yeah, but fuck, man, I can't work out social media. Like, because to be honest, I never really had social media before the podcast. I had like a real basic Facebook account with like 20 followers. And then I started the podcast and someone's like, you got to have an Instagram. You got to build your audience on your Insta. So I really I worked hard at it.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, like, why do I bother? It's such the algorithm, and I don't know how to get followers. Like, I see these people that got 20,000 followers, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't
but
even know who you are.
A lot of it is.
I can't play the game that well.
Yeah, but how far do you want to go? You can buy followers and all that kind of shit, and
I
you
don't
can
want to do that.
No, exactly. So
you know what?
yeah, but you've got to look at what the motive is behind that. And you just want 20,000 followers because it makes you feel like you've been accepted by the mass.
No, I genuinely want to extend my reach. Like,
Exactly.
I just to give my guests the platform they deserve. So, like, I believe, like, I'm only getting people on here that I believe in, and then they're courageous enough to come in and speak openly, tell their story, just like you've done today.
You could
And
always
I want to get that message as far as possible. Like what you advocated for today. Like I want to send that message as far as I can. Like that is the motivation.
Amen.
You know, and there is an element of narcissism to having a big social media profile. There is. Like I'm not going to fucking pretend.
For sure.
Like, you know, like.
it makes you feel special or important.
But I'm
all of
also
this.
starting to wonder, like, how is it really that respected by people, and are you really getting that much credibility from having thousands and thousands of followers?
Well, at the end of the day, no.
You're not.
I would say no.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's what somebody, I think, tangibly leaves behind as
Yeah.
far as whether it's a podcast where there's like there's like a deep. There is. What I'm saying, it's not just I ate toast today. Like
Yeah.
significant things.
But that gets heaps of views when people put dumb shit up. But then if I put like some post up of an audio quote, you know,
But that's
no one
silly.
No one looks at it. They want to see a chick in bikini, and
It's
they wanna
instant gratification, but at the end of
Yeah.
the day, if your message is strong enough, it's going to leave an impression on someone more than a piece of toast or a fine ass.
And that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not about quantity; it's about quality.
No, but I mean, the more we connect with different audiences and more people,
Yeah.
the more that expands, and it does naturally grow. So
You know what? If you're out there and you want to fucking help me with my social media, Instagram, DM me.
yeah,
yeah. DM
you can
me.
hire someone
I
for
dare
that.
you. Yeah, I find that weird. It's like,
But look at
can you please come and make me look good?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, I guess it's like anything these days. We want to be perceived a certain way.
Do you know what gets the most views and stuff on my social media? It's when I post clips of me and my friends skating shitty little curbs.
Well, there you go.
It's bizarre. I'm like, yeah, that's narcissism right there. Like, hey, look at me skateboarding.
Well,
You know,
it isn't.
check
It
me
isn't.
out.
But I mean, like,
You put images up of you surfing, but they're usually beautiful images of.
yeah, but fuck, we're all like, I think we go a bit too extreme on the ego thing. It's like you can be proud of what you're doing and want to share that with people. Doesn't mean you're narcissistic or like an arrogant wanker. Just means it's like I'm proud of what I do and I'm going to share that with you because this is what this platform's fucking built for, no? Yeah, but then it's,
Saying that.
yeah, of course I've got ego and vanity and all those things, but I try and keep them in check as much as possible.
Awareness. You got
That's
the
why I
awareness.
show, post pictures of me standing in front of a tree with my ass out because it's like,
I noticed that.
it's like I'm just I'm a being on this earth and I'm going to show you what I do the way I do it and that's all.
But I mean, to me, when I looked at that picture, like, it just looked like I was looking at a piece of art.
Exactly.
Like,
That's what I want.
because I mean, the whole visual of it was you're in a forest with all these, was it dead trees?
That was just this one gigantic dead tree.
Yeah, and it just was.
But
a
it's still
rad
alive.
picture.
Like it's not dead. Look at it. It's
It was
full
all
of
charred
energy.
and whatever, and it was like, and it was a black and white from memory image.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like a rad picture. It was like unique. It was like,
Powerful that.
it wasn't
I mean,
really like, hey, check out Kirk's ass. Like,
No, not at all.
I wish I had buns like him. Like,
No, that was just strip. I like getting naked because it's
buns.
stripping back to just truth.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
All right, that's a fucking 2-hour podcast.
No, it's not. Hour and 45 minutes, man. Well, listen, it's been epic. You want to end on anything special? Nah. All right, Mr. Kirk.
I love you. I love you, people.
Dude, sing
I
us
just
out.
want to say thank you to all my fans out there. Thank you for all the love. I couldn't do this without you, my mama, my papa, my sister.
Hey, let's finish on some vocal
Yeah.
warm-ups, warm downs, cool downs. Me,
Me, me, me, me, me, me, me, me, me.
Me,
Mama, 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 mama.
me, mama moo.
See you later.
Mr. Kirk Jenkins, everybody. You.